Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on Dover, the high banks, after now Kyle Larson finds himself still atop the standings in the playoffs and the regular season. We did close in on him after his issues late in Atlanta, 66 points the difference, but Ross Chastain held us off in the closing moments there to win that race. Now, as you can see, the drivers that won in the bracket challenge there last week highlighted in green, which means that Joey Logano is going up against Ross Chastain, and I'm going up against Brad Keselowski here today in Dover. Just two drivers will remain in the Busch Light Bracket Challenge following this race in Dover, and they will fight for $3 million next round in Michigan home for Brad Keselowski, where we expect him to announce a potential retirement there. And on top of that, we expect maybe as well the Denver Raceway to be officially revealed, and we'll actually see what the track looks like going into what will be a tire test to follow in a couple episodes after that. Some silly season news on the way as well. There's a lot of developments at this point in the season. Of course, we kind of like to get a lot of things out of the way before the playoffs, and of course now we only have about 7 races or so until the playoffs start. Of course, they start a little bit earlier this season with the playoff format changing, and as we get closer to that playoff, I'm getting more excited for it to try out the new playoffs, which is just a simple change. As you guys know, if you have been out of the loop, the Final Four has 2 additional races. Instead of a winner-take-all one race, no, it's the top 4 in points. After 3 races, whoever has the most points wins the championship. It kind of eliminates the Mickey champion to an extent here now as we exit turn 4 in our qualifying attempt in Dover, and we put up an impressive lap. It puts us row 5, P10 for the Stridine 400. Very happy with that qualifying effort. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano have been on it recently in qualifying. Logano, however, down in P15, and Byron on pole alongside Kyle Busch, his old boss. Bell, Chastain, Briscoe the top 5, Gibbs, Larson, Elliott, Hamlin in the 45, continuing to substitute for Tyler Reddick, and myself rounding out the top 10. Reddick still expected to return to competition within the next few races, but he's going to probably have to win a race to make the playoffs now. No Xfinity or Truck Series action this weekend or next episode either. We're jumping straight into Cup Series racing here Sunday afternoon from Dover Raceway.
Round 4 of the Busch Light Bracket Challenge kicks off today at the tricky Dover Raceway. 2 pairs of head-to-head drivers will sort it out today to head to the final round next week in Michigan.
Joey Logano could go all the way here. He's gotten hot at the perfect time.
Right, boys. Strong weekend last time out in Atlanta. I mean, of course, things kind of went our way, but no reason we can't keep that momentum here today.
Let's keep it up today, Gary. We're finding our stride at the right time.
You hear the conversation between myself and crew chief James Small as Ryan Blaney starting at the back after failing pre-race inspection. We got the Nutella cars on the car. Of course, Kroger in this storyline has moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing. In real life, it turned out to be RFK. But William Byron, Kyle Busch lead the field to the green flag, and we are racing officially here from Dover as we head down towards turn number 1. Over 100 laps of racing here today, and honestly, such a tricky track. Of course, the Monster Mile, known to be a very difficult track on the calendar. The Concrete Mile, this is as well. It's always been treacherous. We've seen big accidents. This track can catch out the most skilled drivers in the Cup Series. Shane Van Gisbergen, not only the most skilled in the Cup Series, one of the most skilled drivers on earth. To my outside, 3 wide. It's not been a great season for Shane Van Gisbergen. He has kind of struggled in this Trackhouse switch to Honda. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch has found victory lane twice. He's kind of fallen off since then, and Ross Chastain has now found victory lane 2 times, and that is being in the last few episodes. It seems like Chastain is starting to come into his own this season. Meanwhile, SVG, he comes into this race the last driver in the playoffs, 20 points above the cut line, as Bubba Wallace has got some work to do if he wants to run him down. Todd Gilliland as well still in the mix. Tyler Reddick is still in the mix, but of course that point gap is getting worse for him with every race that passes that he is missing. Of course, Denny Hamlin substituting for his own driver. Bit of contact there with the McCafe 23 of Bubba Wallace now is still top 10, but certainly struggling a little bit here. Now comes the 97 Red Bull Honda SVG moving himself into the top 10. Kyle Larson's already out in front. Larson has gone on a hot charge to the front. Meanwhile, the front row of Byron and Busch, they've jumped to the back half of the top 10 as I'm continuing to struggle with the handling of this Nutella Toyota Camry, and we were losing track position. We're going head-to-head with Keselowski to move on in the Busch Light Bracket Challenge today, and he gets past us right there for P12. Logano going head-to-head with Ross Chastain, the Atlanta winner, of course. Now, here comes my teammate of Ty Gibbs into the mix as well. As you can see in front of us, look at this. Battle cars all over the place now. Byron all the way up high with Logano as well. Keselowski going forward right behind his own driver of Chase Briscoe, your Darlington winner earlier in the season. We come through already to lap 18. We're approaching halfway in stage 1, and Kyle Larson is in a league of his own already. He has been unbelievable. We talk about it every episode. He's been insane over the late spring summer stretch part of the season, and it just doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. As you can see now, the gap is opening up between the cars in front, as I'm really starting to struggle with the handling of this number 19. It's getting really loose the longer it goes, guys.
Hang in there, we will tighten it up for you.
Really quick, as we continue to struggle, I want to mention, you might hear in the videos my mic kind of crackling quite a bit here and there, and I don't know what's causing it. It's not the mic. I can confirm that it is my editing software, which is Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm actively trying to find a fix for it, and I have yet to find a fix for it. So I do apologize for the inconvenience, but I am trying to fix it as soon as possible, as pit stops already kicking off here now, and we are not going to wait too long. As you can see now, a bunch of cars coming in, including the 48 of Rajah Caruth now. He's really starting to come into his zone, I think. In that number 48, we've seen him starting to put some good runs together, but everybody gets into the pit lane without issues. We're going to take 4 tires. You can see us making tire pressure changes and wedge changes as well to tighten up this number 19. So it's going to be about a 15.4 second pit stop to get the right sides off and on. Left side, same situation. Ends up being 15.4 seconds now, as it looks like we lose or maybe gain a little bit. I don't know. We get out in front of the 48, but we come up behind the 2. There goes Bubba Wallace, who pitted a lap earlier. He's going to gain some track position. Here comes Corey Heim, another driver that seems to be stepping it up in recent weeks. We pass the 2 of Gilliland, catch him off guard, but there goes Heim through in that 2311 Toyota Camry. Kyle Larson retakes the lead of this race. It's been green for the first 28 laps, and lap traffic is now playing a factor in this race. So early on in stage 1 in the pits, actually, the 23 of Bubba Wallace had smoke pouring out of the back of him. You saw it on the left side. Bubba Wallace is going to be done for the day. He's in the pits and out of this race in Dover, as we are engulfed in traffic here. Byron Keselowski all right in front of us. Lap traffic including John Hunter Nemechek, the 16 of Josh Berry right there in front of us, the 28 of Connor Zilish, one of the best rookies of the year, struggling quite hard here today in Dover. Now as we'll dive to the inside. If you remember Zilish, I mean, he was fighting for a win at Sonoma early in the season, nearly won in just one of his first starts in the Cup Series. Since then, of course, has kind of leveled off with that Andretti equipment, but has definitely performed, very strong in his Andretti equipment as a rookie. We continue to watch the Rookie of the Year battle between Zilish. Rajah Caruth as well could maybe get in the mix if he continues to run better. And, of course, William Sawalich for Legacy Motor Club has outrun his teammate of John Hunter Nemechek all season long. We always talk about Jesse Love. We haven't quite seen the improvement out of him quite yet. The champion in the Xfinity Series last season on one sole win. Kyle Larson, coming to a few laps ago, is on the same straightaway as us. His pace has been monumental. Brent Cruz, RCR prospect here from the Truck Series, a few wins to his name in the Cup Series field today, as RCR is potentially looking to make him skip the Xfinity Series and put him straight into a Cup car next season, as they look to find themselves in a position where they wanted to try and hop on getting Jesse Love to the team. Well, the Harvick and Austin Dillon management are looking to get Cruz to the Cup team now as soon as possible. We got trouble in front of us. It's Kyle Busch in the 99 with an engine failure right in front of us now. We had to check up on the back of, that was Nick Sanchez, and then we had to avoid the 99. We're going to get through in P12, but we lose stage points out of it. Meanwhile, he's going to pit in the 99, and Kyle Larson's already on the final lap of stage 1. He exits turn 4. Kyle Larson wins stage number 1, as we're going to have to race around a whole nother lap. Chase Elliott, his Hendrick teammate, going to end up in 2nd position. It's going to be looking like 13th unless we can find a way to pass the 2 of Gilliland into turn number 3. We're there, looking, not going to be enough. It's going to be P13 as we roll through 3 and out of turn 4. Larson's dominance continues again, and it'll be P13 for us in stage number 1. We don't really know quite how the car drives it on the longer run, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to make much adjustment to it. How about Shane Van Gisbergen up to 3rd? He's got some speed today, so we'll have to be watching over him. Denny Hamlin P6 as he continues to substitute for the injured Tyler Reddick. We go up on the right rear tire pressure specifically to 48 psi as we get ready to roll for the next stage. Martin Truex Jr. in the field here in one of his 17 home tracks in Dover for the number 7 of Junior Motorsports, having a solid run. No contract talk to report on this weekend as Chase Elliott loses 12 positions in the pits. He's back here with us now as over half the field was lapped in stage 1 by Kyle Larson. That's how dominant his pace was to start this race. Stage 2 is underway as we dive down into turn number 1. How about the 31 of Alex Bowman and the Ally Chevrolet having a solid run here today as well, but Kyle Larson in a league of his own as usual over the last handful of races now. He has been untouchable. The only thing that has gotten in his way is tire failures. He was on track for 2nd last week to Ross Chastain in Atlanta until that tire failure, of course, put him down the order in the 20s, and we were able to, of course, capitalize on that and find ourselves fighting for a win in that 2-lap sprint against Chastain as I'm struggling clipping the apron there, but we're back up to P12. This car really takes off well on the short run, and then, of course, on that long run it fades out quite hard. So the purpose of the adjustments we've already made is to slow down our pace on the short run, and hopefully that will, of course, balance it out a little bit more on that long run, because it seems like we could be in position to have some long runs here today if stage 1 is going to be the pattern for the remainder of this race. It was green from start to finish for the first 41 laps of this race. Now Chase Elliott starting to move his way forward, passing myself, passing the 98 of Chase Briscoe. I would follow through on the inside as well to pass that number 98. And now Elliott into the top 10, getting past Todd Gilliland. How about Corey Heim up inside the top 10 now? I said it, he seems to be kind of finding his zone a little bit now for 2311. We know he's on a team that's capable of fighting for championships, and he has been struggling to run top 10, but he seems to be finding it here today, and he's as well recently been looking a little bit better. But you can see now he's lost a spot to the 9, but everybody's going to be losing a spot to the 9. We know Elliott's fast. He was P2 in stage 1 as we now take the inside line up the inside of that 11 Safe Flight Toyota Camry now and actually run him up the track a little bit. There's Ross Chastain running P9. Not quite the speed we've seen out of him in the last few episodes, of course, where he's gone on to win a couple of races at this point now. Pole winner William Byron, the only Hendrick driver that we've kind of expected to see win races that hasn't yet. We don't really expect to see Rajan Carruth win quite yet. In his rookie season crash, Christian Eckes in the 15 goes around, and that's going to bring out a caution as Denny Hamlin had just taken the lead from Kyle Larson. But look at this, we're seeing immediately some split strategies, some electing to pit, some electing to stay out. Hamlin stays out, Larson and others pit, Shane Van Gisbergen, Keselowski, myself, Elliott as well included. Elliott loses some more track position again, and we get back in front of him, and everybody that just stayed out, basically 7th on forward, cannot make it to the end. Meanwhile, we have 26 laps to go. We have 27 laps of field. We can just barely make it to the end of the stage. So it makes sense as to why some stayed out. They were confident that maybe we would have to pit again. That's not the case. We can make it to the end. Everybody that just pitted can make it to the end of stage 2. So this could really screw the front half of this field, or front half of the drivers that stayed out, I should say. As now you can see, here comes Rajan Carruth in the 48 up the inside. He is, like I said, coming into his own as recent races, of course, has gone much more in his favor compared to races in the first part of the season where it felt like he was having a tire failure, an engine issue, just about every race. And it seems like, of course, now we're seeing those issues are not present, and he's running good. So Rajan Carruth very quickly turning things around in his rookie season. Unfortunately, the first part of his season was so bad and so unlucky. He's going to have to win to make the playoffs, but you never know. He might be able to pull it off here. Now as we're going to go make a 3-wide move to the inside of the 24 and SVG, going in the wrong direction here behind his Trackhouse Honda teammate of Ross Chastain right there as we exit turn 2 side by side with that 97 of SVG. We'll dive down into turn 3. Hamlin continues to lead the way in the number 45, and we're 3 wide still with Chastain. We throttle up, we take it into P9 and continuously going forward. How about our teammate Christopher Bell up there in front of us? Toyota still only has 2 wins on the season. It's a continuous topic. We actually have a Toyota meeting coming up because although we've improved as a manufacturer, we still haven't been winning. That's a cause for concern for Toyota and the fight to win a championship, of course. So we will be talking about that going forward with a Toyota meeting on the way. Kyle Larson has taken the lead back and Shane Van Gisbergen has been going back forward. He passed a few cars, passed myself in the process. Hamlin into the pits, and the others that stayed out are going to have to pit as well over the next couple of laps. And look at that 97. I do believe Shane Van Gisbergen's got pace to run top 3 today. We saw it in stage 1. He's showing it again. Carruth in the 48 right now in P4, as everybody that has to pit now has pitted. Everybody else can make it to the end, and those guys that stayed out were hoping a caution was going to come out before they had to pit. That's not the case. They've now lost a few laps in the process. We're continuing to run down this 48 is Noah Gregson, and the 88 goes around for JRM. Busher gets involved and the caution flies. If that caution could have came 5 laps earlier for those guys that just had to pit, they would have been real happy. There's only 8 cars on the lead lap. We're going to box, of course, for 4 tires just like everybody else, but you're going to see Hamlin and others that pitted will take the wave around, but they're 2 laps down. So this is only going to put them 1 lap down as Austin Hill gets a free pass. Only 9 cars are on the lead lap. What a race, what a pace that 5 has set, of course, as well. And we're back underway for a late stage 2 restart here. No cautions in stage 1, 2 cautions in stage 2. 7 laps remain in this stage now. Will we see another one before the stage comes to an end? Kyle Larson clear on the exit of turn 2. He's going to try and drive away. Keselowski, who we're going head-to-head against in the Busch Light Bracket Tournament here today. We have to come out in front of him to advance to the finals against either Joey Logano or Ross Chastain. Right now it looks like it might be going in favor of the 22. A move to the outside of the 97 Red Bull Honda for Trackhouse Racing. Shane Van Gisbergen hooks it up on the inside. They're going to go 3 wide for second place out of turn 2. And here comes Corey Heim looking to my inside. We stay clear of him. Elliott drops to 4th, and Keselowski would actually drop to 4th eventually behind that 9, and everybody would get settled in. SVG into P2. Does he have the speed to go run down Kyle Larson? That's the next question. A big run to the back of the 6. To the inside into turn 3. We are continuing to find a bit more pace and a bit more track position. Track position so important here at a track like Dover now as we're wheel to wheel with Keselowski. 2 to go on the stage. Larson in control. SVG can't seem to find the pace. Caution is out, and it's actually for Corey Heim just behind us. Blew a tire, and that's going to be unfortunate for him. However, what is fortunate for him, that ends the stage. He will get P6 in the stage. Larson will get the stage win, and he still gets to be in the race, and he'll restart P9 as Denny Hamlin gets the free pass. We find ourselves P5, Larson 2 more playoff points. That puts his tally to 22 and leading the regular season. What is it, 15 points for a regular season title if I'm not mistaken. So I mean that would put him at 37 right now, and I think it's evident unless Kyle Larson has some catastrophic downfall, which just doesn't seem to be happening. He has already won the regular season championship. We're not going to be able to run him down. He's just been unbelievable now. He doesn't even need to be winning races anymore, but it looks like he's going to do that today. Keselowski, our head-to-head competitor in that Busch Light Challenge, gets past us to start this opening lap. 52 laps to go. This car is still set up to run long run mode basically now, as Chase Elliott actually to the lead. Larson all the way on the outside is going to give it up, but I don't think he's too concerned. Let's be honest here now, as the RFK, of course, co-owner and driver Keselowski trying to get win number 2 on the season. He clears SVG. We're right to the back bumper of that 97. Byron Briscoe behind us there in P6, P7 now. We look to the inside of the 97. Tap that apron there. Not going to quite work out in our favor now, but SVG continues to run about a lane up, and that allows me to do this. Get back to him again. Look to the inside. Keselowski couldn't quite make the move there on Kyle Larson. We'll now go to the inside, and we might even find ourselves briefly 3 wide on the exit of turn 4. Can't quite get the car to rotate there, so we lose out again to SVG. And now Keselowski all the way to the top here. Now we'll follow Shane Van Gisbergen. Can we find a way to get into P4 as we exit turn 2? Contact with the 6. He slips, he slides. Heavy impact into the outside wall. Byron collected. Big crash down the back straightaway into turn 3. All ignited by myself. Caution flies. Please apologize to Brad there and whoever got collected. That was not my intention. I just got so tight.
I mean, what the was that? Is he pissed over last week? What a
Last episode, Keselowski blew a tire and took us with him. Today we collide again. The driver who's been trying to recruit us to his team and the driver we are trying to beat today to move on in the Busch Light Challenge. That was a big incident. We returned to the racing and Keselowski didn't pit, but you can immediately see in the mirror his car does not go. He has been absolutely screwed over with 46 laps to go. There's enough time for the 2012 Cup Series champion in what we already know is his final season of Cup Series competition. The rest of the public does not know, but of course we do have very much the knowledge about that situation going onwards here, but we know it's going to become public knowledge in the next episode. But there's still time for him to come and get back up here in the mix. But 45 laps to go in Dover. Shane Van Gisbergen takes the lead of this race. Kyle Larson, however, going to get back through on the 9 of Chase Elliott as we head down this back straightaway. Elliott, of course, stole a win just a few episodes ago to get his second win on the season. Now, of course, we have 5 drivers with more than 1 win this season. Kyle Larson at 3, myself, Chastain, Elliott, and Kyle Busch all at 2 apiece. As we continue to now try and follow these guys. Larson has taken the lead back from SVG. Nobody has anything for that 5 today. Simple as that. Something unique is going to have to be presented to us now. As you can see, both the 5 and the 97 drive away. So Shane Van Gisbergen's close. He's got pace to maintain with Larson. Elliott, myself, don't. So our pace is on the short run. We're both fading on the long run. Unfortunately, I fade even harder than the 9 does here, lap 107. And you can see the gap is getting way larger between myself and Chase Elliott. It's not just slowly growing. No, it's growing. And you can see it visually here every single lap. That 9's just driving off in the distance. And I'm about to be under pressure from Denny Hamlin, who recently got the free pass and has clawed his way back forward. I'm struggling on handling, slipping and sliding around. Here comes the number 45. Denny Hamlin has been making the most of his, substituting for his driver of Tyler Reddick. He fought for a win in Pocono. He's been looking great in every race he's done in that 45 so far, and he's looking great at another track that he's had some recent success at here at Dover. Most recent Cup win for him actually so far in the Cup Series in real life now, as we would drop though to P5, and here comes Chase Briscoe as well. It's been an up and down season for that brand new 4th car at RFK, of course, but he has found a way to victory lane just like his other teammates, Justin Haley and Keselowski have. Buscher has yet to win. He's 15th in the playoff standings, 58 points above the cut line. Now behind us, Briscoe actually blows an engine. No cautions coming out, and Briscoe, as we're talking about him having a good day, it all comes to an end. The 98's going to dive to the pits, and it's going to be day over for Briscoe. Crucial in the regular season standings now as lap 114 comes around, and it's time to pit, and now my teammate of Christopher Bell is running us down. As we go down into turn 3, Larson's going to run an additional lap, but Elliott's pitting. Shane Van Gisbergen, Hamlin, myself, Bell, and many others as well are going to pit a lap before the number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. So we'll see how that works out for Kyle Larson. Is he going to come out in front, or is he going to have some time to make up here? Now we get out surprisingly in front of the 9, who clearly has a slow stop, because Hamlin as well is out in front of the 9 of Chase Elliott. We're to the back of Denny Hamlin, to the inside of Denny Hamlin now, near contact there. He's going to run us tight into turn 3, a shallow entry. That's going to allow him to do exactly that. He's going to breeze right back past us. We tried to catch him off guard, didn't quite work. Larson in the pit lane, exiting now. He's not going to be the leader. It's going to now go to the 97. Shane Van Gisbergen's going to overtake the number 5 of Kyle Larson to the point here with over 20 laps to go, 25 to be exact, and he has a sizable margin, and Larson's going to get cleared by myself and Hamlin as well. Larson drops down to P4. We go to P3 looking for P2, and SVG's gone. He's got lap traffic in between us as well. This is not going to be an easy feat for anybody, especially Kyle Larson, who has the fastest car, but we know Shane Van Gisbergen's not far off the 5, and we continue battling side by side with Hamlin. We clear him, but Larson's going nowhere as we approach 20 laps to go. Suddenly, Shane Van Gisbergen, the last driver currently in the playoffs, is in position to win his way in and not have to worry, as we're passing one of the rookies, part-time rookies, of course, Brent Cruz, for the second time today. Austin Hill runs P10. We've talked about waiting on that RCR improvement there, of course, under the new Harvick and Austin Dillon leadership. Are we starting to see that improvement for the team? Now Eric Jones running 28th. Not a great day for the front row driver. 47 points out of the playoffs. Right now we're 3 wide between him and the 3. We clear them both on the exit of turn 2. Kyle Larson still hasn't passed Denny Hamlin with 20 laps to go, and Elliott has joined the mix as well and got past the 5, as how about Nick Sanchez having a good run in P18 here for Andretti Global. A very strong run for the Honda driver. Chris Buescher, however, 27th. Not so pretty for him, as he's 58 points above the cut line. We really have to start paying attention to that playoff bubble drivers now. Kyle Larson has now gotten past Elliott and Hamlin. He's back into P3, and he is closing quickly now, as Shane Van Gisbergen is right there in front of us in the middle of 3 and 4, and we will get past Austin Cindric now, and here comes Kyle Larson, going to clear the 0-6 on the exit of 4. It's game on, but only 14 to go. Larson's got to make up over 3 seconds to get to Shane Van Gisbergen, and he's going to have to work his way through lap traffic that SVG is already coming up on and passing. It's not going to happen. Larson's going to breeze past me. I had nothing for him. I just couldn't keep the car on the bottom. He drove right past me. It wasn't even a contest. We know the 5 car is in a whole different league, and I couldn't even make it difficult on him. So Larson, of course, goes through. I do not want him passing us because of the regular season championship, but Larson's got about 3.5 seconds to make up as we come to 10 to go. Now Hamlin coming past me, and Elliott as well had gotten past me in the 9. So we were down to now P5. Contact actually with the 45 into turn 1. He saves it. Thank goodness. That would have not been good as we drop down to the 5th position. Larson, Elliott, Hamlin have all passed us in the last couple of laps. Meanwhile, Larson is not making up enough ground on Shane Van Gisbergen, who's hoping it stays green, because he will win if it stays green to the end of this race, which it won't. Hocevar blows the front tire into the outside while he goes, and the caution flies. As that happens, look at this. Cliff Daniels makes the call to keep Kyle Larson on the racetrack. They're going to put him in P1 on older tires. He did pit 1 lap later than everybody else. SVG, including myself and everybody else on the lead lap, are going to pit. Logano gets the free pass, which will basically guarantee he beats Ross Chastain in the bracket challenge. He will move on to the finals. It's between myself and Keselowski now to see who is going to go against Joey Logano, as we will be restarting P7, P9. Larson to the lead on older tires, SVG in P2. We're really going to find out how good that 5 is now. We're back underway. It's a 5-lap dash here from Dover. We are racing once again. Look at all the cars in the pits. A bunch of cars out of this race now. Immediately 3 wide to the inside of the 11. Elliott does the same on Hamlin. His Hendrick teammate Larson takes the lead out of turn 2. Oh, continues in the lead, I should say. We're to the inside of Rajan Carruth. What a great drive from Carruth at one of the trickiest tracks in the Cup Series. Now, into the top 5 we go. Hamlin leaves the inside open as we come through out of turn 4. We made adjustments in the pits to free up this car for the short run. We know it's only a 5-lap sprint. SVG going backwards, and I think we've made a great call on loosening up this car. We're moving forward quickly out of turn 2. We know the strength is a short run, and we've really made it strong now. Side by side with the New Zealander into turn 3. SVG's hopes of winning have deteriorated. He's down to 4th, maybe gonna lose that to Hamlin as well and drop to P5. 3 laps to go, and we're running down the 9 as well of Elliott. Look at Larson, how strong that 5 is on old tires. He's opening up the gap. Elliott, we're gonna get through on the inside. We'll clear him on the exit of turn 2 into P2. What a sudden drive. What a boost of energy we've had in the closing laps now, coming to 2 to go. It's game on with the number 5 of Kyle Larson as we dive down into turn 1. We clip the apron, slip and slide. We save it now. We've still got enough time. We've got the tire advantage as we head down this back. Straight away, Kyle Larson 3 wins looking for 4. Us 2 wins looking for 3, and to put Toyota back in victory lane. This would be crucial if we can beat the 5 right here for our regular season chances. Playoff situation with the points as well, and the white flag is out, and we're within a car length of the number 5 as we roll through 1 out of turn 2. The run is there. We have to get to the inside or it's over. Into turn 3 we get there. Larson leaves it open. We use him up. We slide up the racetrack. He still has the speed. Full throttle out of turn 4. Contact, slip and slide, bang to the line. Larson hangs on and wins. An absolute disgust for myself as we managed to not beat the 5 on a several lap tire advantage. I know that finish is going to have probably conflicted reactions. Some are going to be disappointed that I just didn't, take the cheap way out and body slam the 5 in the wall to win the race. I wanted to do it clean, and obviously we did run into the 5. We used them up in 3 and 4. I never lifted. Basically, when we got to the center of the corner, I just held the throttle down, and that's why we knocked the 5 up out of 4, because I just wasn't lifting in that scenario. unfortunately, it just simply wasn't enough. And again, I mean, it's an arcade racing game that can be so much fun sometimes. Looking at the playoff standings, after such a frustrating ending, we were so close right there to winning again 2 weeks in a row. Of course, Larson atop of the standings in the playoffs right now. Chris Buescher, Shane Van Gisbergen, Todd Gilliland, all those bubble drivers. It's really going to be interesting to watch going into the final 6 races or so of this regular season. In the regular season standings, Larson extends the gap, obviously, wins the stages, wins the race as well. And in the bracket tournament, for the Busch Light bracket tournament, we advance over Keselowski, Logano advances over Chastain. It will be myself versus Joey Logano, who's been hot ever since the last handful of races, who will fight for $3 million in the Busch Light bracket tournament in Michigan. I'll see you guys then. Lots of news coming in the Michigan episode, and hopefully we can fight for a win. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.